Michael Jackson. The very name conjures visions of glittering gloves, stadiums filled with screaming fans, and the effortless glide of the moonwalk. But behind the dazzling lights and deafening applause was a man torn between genius and fragility, a life of unmatched brilliance, shadowed by relentless pain. On June 25, 2009, the world was stunned when Michael Jackson died suddenly at the age of 50. His passing was not just the loss of a pop star, but the end of a cultural era. To understand his extraordinary journey, we must look back at more than 3 decades of triumphs and failures, of groundbreaking artistry and haunting controversies. This is the story of a boy who became the king of pop, but who never escaped the prison of his own fame. Welcome back to Timeless Stories. Today, let us take a journey into the life of Michael Jackson, a boy who rose from humble beginnings to become the king of pop, yet lived a life shadowed by tragedy.
Oh, darling, I was blind to let you go, but now since I see you.
Chapter 1. A Prodigy is Born. Michael Joseph Jackson was born on August 29, 1958, in Gary, Indiana, the 7th of 9 children in a working-class African-American family. The Jackson household was modest and crowded, filled with strict discipline from his father Joseph, but also filled with music that would shape Michael's destiny. At just 6 years old, Michael joined his older brothers in the Jackson 5. By 8, he had already become the lead singer. His high, soulful voice and dazzling stage presence setting him apart from the very beginning. Managed with an iron fist by their father, the group rehearsed endlessly day after day, hour after hour, until every dance step, every note was flawless. Childhood joys were replaced by pressure and fear, forging a young boy into a performer before he had even learned what it meant to be a child. In 1968, the Jackson 5 signed with Motown Records, one of the most powerful labels in the industry. Just 2 years later, they exploded onto the charts with I Want You Back,
Oh, darling, I was blind to let you go, but now since
ABC, The Love You Save, and I'll Be There. All 4 singles reached number 1, a feat never before achieved by a debut act. By the time he was barely a teenager, Michael Jackson was a global star. The world adored him. But the cost was immense. The loss of a normal childhood and the seeds of loneliness that would later grow into lifelong struggles. Chapter 2. The Rise of the King of Pop. By the late 1970s, Michael longed to step beyond the Jackson 5 and establish his own identity as an artist. His collaboration with the legendary producer Quincy Jones opened that door. In 1979, they released Off the Wall, an album that blended pop, funk, and soul in a way the world had never heard before. With hits like Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and Rock With You,
rock with you all night. Dance you.
Michael claimed his first solo number ones and showed the world he was destined for greatness. But it was Thriller, released in 1982, that redefined not just Michael's career, but the very idea of popular music. Selling over 66 million copies, it became the best-selling album of all time. 7 of its 9 tracks entered the top 10. The music video for Thriller itself, with its cinematic storytelling and groundbreaking choreography, changed the music industry forever. Michael didn't just dominate the charts, he broke barriers. As the first black artist to achieve constant rotation on MTV, he opened doors for generations to come. His red leather jackets, sequined gloves, and fedora hats became global fashion trends. And in 1983, during the Motown 25. Yesterday, Today, Forever television special, he performed the moonwalk for the very first time. In a single fluid motion, Michael Jackson became a living legend. Chapter 3: The Struggles Behind the Curtain. Behind the spotlight, Michael's life grew increasingly complicated. His skin condition, vitiligo, combined with cosmetic surgeries, dramatically changed his appearance. The media seized on every detail, turning him into a tabloid spectacle and labeling him Wacko Jacko. In 1993, Michael sat down with Oprah Winfrey for a landmark interview. He spoke openly about his strict upbringing, his loneliness, and the childhood he felt he never had. But later that same year, he faced serious allegations involving minors. Although he was never convicted in court and always maintained his innocence, the accusations left a lasting shadow over his reputation. The lawsuits, the media frenzy, and the relentless headlines drained his health and spirit, pushing him deeper into dependency on painkillers. Yet, through all this turmoil, Michael's artistry endured. Albums like Dangerous and His Story produced anthems that resonated across the globe. His concerts continued to draw millions, proving that on stage, his power remained unmatched. And in 1995, Michael unveiled one of the most ambitious promotional campaigns in music history, the His Story teaser. Filmed in Budapest, Hungary, the short film showed workers constructing a colossal statue of Michael, while hundreds of real soldiers from the Hungarian army marched in salute. This was no illusion. The government had allowed its military to appear in the shoot. Shown in cinemas worldwide before blockbuster Hollywood films, the teaser shocked critics, who called it excessive, even authoritarian. Yet for fans, it elevated Michael into the realm of myth, a cultural monument larger than life itself. Chapter 4: The Fall. By the 2000s, Michael's health and finances began to unravel. Legal battles drained him, while endless media ridicule painted him as a tragic figure. His eccentricities, once seen as playful, now appeared as symptoms of isolation and despair. In 2009, hope seemed to return. Michael announced his This Is It tour in London, 50 concerts, all sold out within minutes. Fans around the globe longed for his triumphant comeback, but Michael was exhausted. Plagued by insomnia, he relied on dangerous medications just to sleep. On June 25, 2009, Michael Jackson suffered cardiac arrest. At 50 years old, the king of pop was gone. When the news broke on the 25th of June, 2009, the world stopped. Television networks interrupted their broadcasts, newspapers printed special editions, and the internet nearly collapsed under the weight of millions searching for answers. From New York to Tokyo, from London to Lagos, fans poured into the streets, lighting candles, singing his songs, and dancing the moonwalk in tearful tribute. In Los Angeles, thousands gathered outside the UCLA Medical Center, where Michael had been pronounced dead. Across the world, impromptu memorials sprang up at the Apollo Theater in Harlem, in London's Trafalgar Square, outside the gates of Neverland Ranch. For days, radio stations played nothing but his music. Sales of his albums skyrocketed again, proving that even in death, Michael Jackson's voice still had the power to unite millions. It was one of the largest outpourings of public grief in modern history. comparable only to the passing of figures like Princess Diana. The king of pop was gone. Chapter 5. The Legacy. Michael Jackson's life was a tapestry of contradictions, adored by billions, yet achingly lonely. A child star who never had a childhood. A genius who transformed music and dance, yet struggled to find peace in his own life. And yet, his influence remains eternal. From Billie Jean to Man in the Mirror, his songs continue to inspire. His moonwalk and dance innovations are still studied and imitated. His reach into fashion, film, and global culture is immeasurable. Michael Jackson was more than the king of pop. He was a dreamer, an innovator, and a legend who gave everything to his art. His story reminds us that genius often comes with a heavy price, but true art can transcend even the greatest tragedies. This was the life of Michael Jackson, a dazzling genius, a troubled soul, and a legend whose music will echo across generations. His story is not just about fame and tragedy, but also about resilience, innovation, and the power of art to unite the world. Even today, his voice, his dance, and his vision continue to inspire artists and fans everywhere. His music videos still set the standard. His performances remain unforgettable, and his influence on culture is undeniable. Michael Jackson was more than an entertainer. He was a force of nature, a man who poured his heart into his craft and left behind a legacy that will endure as long as music itself. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the extraordinary and tragic life of the King of Pop. This has been Timeless Stories. If you found meaning in today's story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay with us as we continue to uncover more timeless tales of the people whose lives shaped our world.